Lead me to that rock. Lead me to that rock. Lead me to the rock that is higher than I. You are tuned into Guts, Gospel Not Safe, a variety talk show with a Christian point of view. That's Hezekiah Walker, the Azusa Experience. That is Lead Me to the Rock. And we thank God for you all who are tuned into the broadcast and are listening. We hope you'll continue to tune in and be a part of what God is doing right here and right now. We are impacting the world for the kingdom, and we hope that you all will join us as we endeavor to give God our best praise, our great praise, and endeavor to give God all we got in order to give Him the glory and the honor that is indeed due His name. Now, we said we were going to talk about it, and we want to talk about this everlasting covenant, and we're in the book of Genesis chapter 9, verses 8 through 17. And our key verse is found in Genesis chapter 9, verse 11. And we want to remind everybody that the believer can be assured of God's protection in the future. Now, leaving the ark, Noah made a sacrifice to God. Noah received God's grace walked with God in obedience and righteousness, was preserved from judgment, entered a new age with people's wickedness temporarily removed, and responded with worship. After Noah made the sacrifice, God promised never to curse the ground in this way again. The continuity of seasons is evidence of God's forbearance. Something that we want to kind of hold on to and learn as we endeavor to go through this series is that we will know God provides for all our needs and finds ways to remove our fears. God doesn't want us to be afraid, but He wants us to be confident in Him. Now, God is a covenant God. Some scholars believe this is the second covenant He makes with mankind, the first being marriage, which reminds me, I told you. We were celebrating marriage on today, celebrating the marriage of Ilka and Rudy Chavez, or Rudy and Ilka Chavez, and we thank God for them and their wonderful family, and we are encouraging everyone or anybody else who happens to be celebrating an anniversary or wants to wish someone a happy wedding anniversary to call in 877-217-5375, option number 2, in order to report or to say or to announce the anniversary wishes, or you can just listen in, or you can ask for prayer, any of those things. Although the church doesn't talk about this covenant as much as the Abrahamic covenant, a few chapters later in Genesis, it is an unparalleled display of God's grace. And we really don't deal with marriage other than the fact that we do not want homosexual marriage. And that's okay. I mean, I realize that we don't want homosexual marriages. But we ought to really talk about what marriage really is. If we talked about it enough, if we explained it enough, if we really got to the crux of what marriage means and what marriage ought to be, I think we would indeed be more effective in the war against marriage, or being able to provide the answers that people are looking for when it comes to what marriage really is. And people would begin to honor the covenant of marriage. And that's really what it is. It is a covenant, not just some contract. It's not just some merger. It is a covenant. And God wants to make an everlasting covenant, and His expression of an everlasting covenant to demonstrate to us what an everlasting covenant is marriage. That's why the enemy fights so hard to destroy marriages, because then there is no true picture of what an everlasting covenant is about, how it works, what it actually entails, so that people can really see an everlasting covenant in operation. And that's really the purpose, really, when you think about it, of God instituting marriage really before church, so that we could have an understanding, so we know how to relate to one another, so we would be able to do better, and we would have winning attitudes. So we have another choice, another option. By the way, a little breaking news: Iran's president blames Israel for instability in exclusive interview with Ann Curry, calls for peace. You ought to check out today on NBC News for more information on this breaking news about Iran's president and Israel's instability. Back to our information. We have choices, and we were talking about the seventh choice and developing good habits. And choice number 8 is to continually choose to have a right attitude. Again, attitude is a choice. You can have a bad one if you want to, or you can choose to have a good one. Once you make the choice to possess a good attitude, the work really begins. Now comes a life of continual deciding to grow and maintaining the right outlook. And the reason why it's a choice, and the one that you have to continue to struggle against, is because everybody is trying to pull your attitude down. Because this world is not, they don't understand nor do they enjoy people who have a right attitude. They think people who have right attitudes are crazy. Because why do you have it about all the time? Why are you always so positive? What's wrong with you? You're mental. And so it's a need to kind of exert some effort. Attitudes have a tendency to revert back to their original patterns, especially if they're not carefully guarded or cultivated, because a habit is not easy to break, especially if it has been a very grounded practice. It's hard to deviate from it because you will easily slide back into that bad habit. That's why we often think habits are instinctual, but they're not. They're cultivated over time. The hardest thing about milking cows, observed a farmer, is that they never stay milked. Attitudes often don't stay changed. There are 3 stages of change in which you must deliberately choose the right attitude. Three basic stages. And you have to deliberately put in your head, I'm going to do this in order to continue to maintain my right attitude. One, the early stage. The first few days are always the most difficult. Old habits are hard to break. The mental process must be on guard continually to provide the right action. Then there's the middle stage. The moment good habits begin to take root, options open that bring on new challenges. And these new habits are formed that will either be good or bad. The good news is like begets like. The more right choices and habits you develop, the more likely good habits will be formed. And the latter stage, complacency can become the enemy. We all know the incidents where someone, perhaps even us, successfully lose weight, only to fall back into old eating habits and gain it back again. Our decision to continually choose the right attitude will bring many benefits. A friend with whom I've worked for years with on attitude change told a large conference of leaders, if you knew me 5 years ago, you would not recognize me today. My family, ministry, and self-image have greatly improved. Daily I work on my attitudes. I am not what I want to be, but I am not what I used to be either. I want to grow in the next 5 years like I have the last 5. To do this, I must continually choose the right attitude. There is no improvement except through change. To improve continually, we must change continually. And that's one to grow on. You're tuned in to Guts, Gospel How to Save, a variety talk show with a Christian point of view, hoping that you will have the guts to tell somebody about Jesus. I'm your host, Nikki V. The number to call to join the conversation, 877-217-5375. That's 877-217-5375. We'll be right back after this. Fix joints. Thank you. That's Anisha, Holy One, right here on Guts, Gospel Not to Save. I've already talked to her with a Christian point of view. Hoping you will have the guts to tell somebody about Jesus. And coming out of this, we're going to hit a real quick break, and we'll be right back.
Gospel, united to save. It's the Guts Gospel Show, a variety talk show with a Christian view. Your host, Nikki B, featuring open discussion, event spotlight, and special guests. Tune in weekday or the midday show at 3:30 p.m. The Guts Gospel Show, a variety talk show with a Christian view with your host, Nikki B, right here on this station.
This commercial is sponsored by Richmond Gospel Network.
Again, himself cannot stand. There's one God above us all. In us all, to us all. One fear, one hope, one baptism. It's not God. Hey! It's not a competition. This is a holy mission. Let's work together, complete the Father's plan. It's not a competition. This is a holy mission.
Tisha, Misha. That's right, you fight against you. Mr. Gallimore, brokenness to victory. This is not a competition, y'all. Somehow we seem to think it is. I don't know what that's about, but in the churches we seem to be competing against one another. This is not a competition. This is really not a competition. We're supposed to work together to propel forward the holy mission. Guts, gospel united to save. Now, I want to let you know, because we're talking about winning attitude as well as dealing with an everlasting covenant. You are the key to changing your attitude. Nobody can do it but you. Nobody can make it happen but you. You have to be involved in your own rescue. When faced with the need for improvement, too many people are like the man who walked into a psychiatrist's office. He had placed half a cantaloupe on his head for a hat. Around each ear he had wrapped a piece of bacon. The psychiatrist rubbed his hands in glee. "I've got a live one this time," he thought to himself. Then the man with the cantaloupe on his head and the pieces of bacon wrapped around each ear sat down. "I've come," he said to the psychiatrist, "to talk to you about my brother." I'm not crazy. Not me. There's somebody else that's worse than I am. I know I look bad, but there's somebody worse than I am. I know you can see that I have problems that need to be taken care of and addressed, but don't look at me, because I'm not looking at me. I need you to help me with that one that irks my nerves. We do that at church, don't we? The message comes, "Sister so-and-so should have been here. That message was directed at her." "Oh, brother so-and-so should have been here. That message was directed to him." How about maybe God was trying to talk to you? Self-examination. Try it. You might find out it's helpful to your own growth. No one but you can determine what you will think and how you will act. And that's good. Now take control and begin the exciting journey of attitude improvement, because really, bottom line is, it's up to you. You got to do it. If you think you're a winner, you'll win. If you dare to step out, you'll succeed. Believe in your heart. Have a purpose to start. Aim to help fellow man in his need. Thoughts of faith must replace every doubt. Use words of courage, and you cannot fail. If you stumble and fall, rise and stand 10 feet tall. You determine the course that you sail. For in life, as in death, you don't you see? It's the man who has nothing to fear, who approaches the gate, stands a moment and waits, feels the presence of God, oh, so near. You've been given the power to see what it takes to be a real man. Let your thinking be pure. It will make you secure. If you want to, you know that you can. Just a quick point of view observation before we go on and move on to the next portion of our broadcast, because we do have to transition. I do want to remind you, though, that Michael A. Mingo Sr. is available to help you out. If you have no air, that's just not cool, Doc. You need to make sure that your air conditioning is working, whether it be at your church, home office, wherever it is that you find that you can't stay cool. There's someone that you can call who's licensed and insured to do the job. Residential and commercial, maintenance, installation, service, HVACR. You need to call your AC and repair company, Michael A. Mingo Sr., and let them know you heard it here on Guts with Nikki V. Tell them you know Amazing Grace. 305-372-8859. That's 305-372-8859. In Dade County or in Broward County, you can call 954-578-3574. No air, not cool, man. You want to make sure that you get cool and get you some air by calling Michael A. Mingo. It's important that you get some AC during these times as we are concluding our summer months. You don't want to wait until the next time. This is a good time to get the job done. And the man for the job is Michael A. Mingo. Give him a call today. 954-578-3475. That's 954-578-3574. 954-578-3574. Or in Dade County, 305-372-8859. That's 305-372-8859. Michael A. Mingo. Give him a call. Let him know you heard it here on Guts with Nikki V. He'll get your AC and your refrigeration running cool and giving good air. We thank God for you all who are tuned into the broadcast. You are tuned into Guts, Gospel Not to Save. Variety talk show with a Christian point of view, hoping you will have the guts to tell somebody about Jesus. We'll be right back after this.
Spreaker is international school of ministry, producing quick, qualified, and